Let's talk about the other biggest news of the day here, because this is not it. I mean, this was the craziest day of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hell of a day. Fantastic. I mean, we're talking the beginning of Brandon Ayuk's situation here, where we currently stand. This is a good week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be a fun one, guys. Davante Adams heads to the Jets. That's where this all started. That's where this day took off from. The Jets landed the guy. They got their wide receiver. Davante Adams does not care. I wrote a story 33 minutes before this news broke. The title of the story, just so I don't get it, I don't want to botch it on you guys. I don't want to lie to you and give you the wrong one. Steelers gain more ground in Davante Adams' race. You want to know what that story is about? How the New York Jets stink, how the New Orleans Saints stink, and how if Davante Adams has to pick between two teams right now, being the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers have the upper hand because not even the Bills looked that good last night. And if it wasn't for 290 yards worth of penalties or whatever it was, they aren't going to win that game. So you look at that and you say, the Steelers got to have an upper hand. Nope. The Jets send a third-round pick that people are going to say, oh, is a second-round pick. It's not going to be a second-round pick. It is. Did you see the terms of this trade?
And yeah, the conditions are pretty ridiculous.
I mean, what are you doing there? If he's an all-pro, that's not going to happen. He's missed half the season. And the Jets make it to the Super Bowl, and he's on the active roster. If he's not on the active roster and the Jets make it to the AFC Championship game, how did we get here? Did the entire AFC just fall off a ship? I don't know what happened. It's going to be a third-round pick, and they took on his entire contract, which that part questionable. Next year, his cap hit is $36 million for the Jets, and they got to figure something out with that. Otherwise, they're taking on $36 million to go figure out what they're going to do with a 34-year-old wide receiver. That's a tough situation to be in. He's in New York. I'm not upset with the Pittsburgh Steelers going out there, not giving up a third-round pick and not taking on the entire cap situation that Davante Adams comes with. If you were going to figure out the cap situation, great, but they didn't, and it didn't seem like they were ever going to. So I'm okay. I'm not going to sit here and complain about that situation. So what comes next? I got two names for you. Mike Williams and DeAndre Hopkins. And I'll ask you, because I asked you before the show, or I ran it by you before the show. You weren't too into one of them. But I'm going to ask you, between those two, which one do you think is more realistic for the Pittsburgh Steelers as we sit here today? Because Mike Williams is on the block. That's already been reported. And DeAndre Hopkins is most likely on the block. I mean, everybody's talking about him going places, and I have a hard time believing the 1-4 Tennessee Titans or the 1-5 Tennessee Titans are sitting there going, it's all right, man. Will Levis sucks, but we're going to figure this out. And D-Hop, that's the one. Calvin Ridley's already complained about not enough targets, but we're going to give more to D-Hop early in the game because that'll solve things. Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins seem to be the next two for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you put any of them in the realm of possibilities in Pittsburgh over the next, 2.5 weeks? Basketball season is right around the corner, and there are few live events that make you feel as in the moment, and I get it, football season is probably one of them, where you feel like you're there, you're part of the action. Well, let me tell you about Game Time and how Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I decided to jump on and see what Pittsburgh Steelers versus New York Jets tickets look like in primetime. And it took me 3 seats before they hit me with a great deal, telling me that not only are these probably the cheapest, but for the view, they may be the best deal that anybody can offer. Let me walk you through a couple of really nice things about Game Time. First, priority. Game Time Picks curates to make it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. They give you all-in pricing, which means that this feature shows you the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout, because that is the absolute worst thing about buying tickets. They give you seat views because nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to show up not knowing what their view of the stadium is going to look like. The lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And Game Time ticket coverage, which means that your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our code ALLSteelers for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code ALLSTEELERS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Yeah, I got two answers for you here. What's more likely, even though that's a Thursday segment, and what do I want to see more? What's more likely is Mike Williams, because he's already on the trade block. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It was the Jets who had that video where the guy's key card didn't work. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Williams' key card doesn't work today, because the second they got Davante Adams, they were done with Mike Williams. Not to mention the fact that Mike Williams was slated and scheduled to have a visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers this past summer. So who is more likely? I'd say that goes to Mike Williams. Who do I want to see more? I think they need a guy like DeAndre Hopkins more than they need a guy like Mike Williams. Williams has the injury history. Williams is more of a straight line, deep ball type of guy. I think DeAndre Hopkins gives you a little bit more when it comes to the intermediate area of the field. And I think that's what the Steelers are missing. They have their deep ball guy in George Pickens. They need somebody that can operate between the hash marks and operate in that intermediate and short area of the field. I think that's Hopkins more than it's Mike Williams.
I agree. And to be honest with you, like, they brought in Mike Williams. I get it. But I believe if DeAndre Hopkins is available, the Pittsburgh Steelers make some phone calls and they say, why not? Like, why would we not shoot for the stars? They've shot for the stars this entire time. They went after Brandon Ayuk and rode that right into the sunset. They said, screw it. We're going till this thing blows up. And it blew up right before the season. And they ended up with Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson and Scotty Miller coming off the bench with a hurt Roman Wilson. That's what they ended up with. Then they said, screw it, we're going after Davante. Even if everybody is fully aware that he wants to be in New York and that New York wants him, we're going after Davante. Why would you not go after D-Hop? Why would you not shoot for the stars? It feels like Mike Williams is a settle move, and the Steelers are not into settle. So I agree with you. I think Mike Williams right now is the most realistic one, but I would not be surprised if that changes to DeAndre Hopkins as we approach November 5th, because once he becomes officially available, there will be those moves. And it's going to happen fast. I mean, that's how this all goes down. Amari Cooper was on the block for like a day and a half, and then boom, trade to the Buffalo Bills. And I mean, to be honest, the Steelers should have called Cleveland. That's what they should. They should have said, look it, guys, we know you don't even care that we're the Steelers. You would trade them to us because you guys are that bad right now. Let's make a move. That's what they should have did. But I think D-Hop becomes realistic as we get closer to November 5th, because the Titans are going to give up. They've already given up. They're going to jump ship. They don't have an offensive line. Their running back's hurt. Their quarterback is terrible. I mean, we're only weeks away, if that, from Mason Rudolph being the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. Their head coach is probably already on the hot seat, and he's got way too many wide receivers to deal with. Do you even remember Tyler Boyd's there? Because nobody else does. Nobody else remembers that Tyler Boyd is there. That's how bad they are. I think D-Hop will become available, and I'd be willing to give up, honestly, whatever. Like, you want a third round pick for D-Hop? Sure. Here you go. Let's just get this over with and get some guys to Pittsburgh. Do you think Van Jefferson's stat line increases with Russell Wilson on the field?
Van Jefferson's stat line increases? No, I don't think Van Jefferson's. Do you know who I do think has a better stat line because Russell Wilson's on the field? Calvin Austin. Because from day one, from day one, Calvin Austin and Russell Wilson have been like big bro, little bro. And I think Russ really likes Calvin. And I think he's going to find him more often than Justin was able to, just because I think he's going to demand it more.
Do you think George Pickens' stat lines increase with Russell Wilson?
I mean, over the last couple of weeks, it's not like his stat lines have been that impressive. So I think that's not a high bar to clear. But I don't think it, and nothing substantial, because at the end of the day, I don't think Russell Wilson is cooked, but I also don't think that he gives you a substantial upgrade over Justin Fields, even in the pass game. So I don't think anything is going to change materially between last week and this week for certain receivers.